All right, welcome to H2O GPTe. Today we're going over some of the new features in the 1.5 series. This is available in our free trial environment, which is at genai.h2ai. You can come in today, use your Gmail, use your GitHub, and get started. So in H2O GPTe, I can talk to large language models, and I can also do retrieval augmented generation, where I talk with my own data, or I talk to an LLM and it's augmented with truth from my documents. But we're going to start just talking to a large language model. So first we'll say, tell me 3 facts about AI. And a large language model is selected and responds to me. Now, what we're going to talk about today is how the model was selected. So at H2O in our product, we have a wide range of models available. When I go into configuration, in the dropdown, we can see some of these models here. We have open source models that are publicly available, some made by H2O, like Danube, our small language foundational model, but also models like Mixtral or MetaLlama, and so forth. And we have vision models as well. In addition to these open source models, you can absolutely connect with your API keys and use private models like Gemini, GPT-4, Claude, and so forth. Now, by default, we're going to choose the model for your question automatically. And this is done by understanding the latency and accuracy of these models. So I'm going to click over on the model tab. And here I can see how we've been benchmarking these models against each other. On the charts, we have the accuracy of standard RAG benchmarks on the y-axis, and then on the x-axis, we have what we would estimate the typical cost of a query to be. So for these models that are hosted elsewhere, like Gemini or GPT-4, that's going to be the cost of using the API. And then for some of these models that we are hosting, like Llama 3.1 or Mixtral, that's going to be the hosting cost, the GPUs. So for organizations that are customers of the H2O GPTe product, this is running on-prem at your environment or maybe in your favorite cloud. And so you are hosting those GPU costs, but we're estimating based on the hardware of them what the cost per query would be. And so here we can see that currently in our RAG benchmarking, Claude 3 is doing really well, the best, but it is more expensive than some of these other hosted models. Another thing that we're looking at, in addition to cost and accuracy, is latency. Now, latency of these third-party hosted models is usually going to be pretty consistent unless something really bad is going on the internet. But the hosted models like your MetaLlama 3.1, if you are hosting this model and you have a ton of people using it all at once, you're going to see latency actually go way up. It'll take longer to get a response. If lots of people are using it, requests will get queued. So in that case, if you would like to prioritize for speed, even though Llama 3 is really accurate, we might want to use Mixtral instead because it might be faster that day depending on. And so when we are actually doing our chats, we are automatically, by default, selecting the model for you. We'll do their chat earlier. Now, which model was actually used? If we go ahead and click on the usage stats, we can see that Claude 3 was used. And this makes sense because even though it's a little bit more expensive, it is the most accurate. Now, this question is a pure LLM only question, so I don't have a lot of context. Context being all the tokens that I'm sending to the model and then maybe the outputs. If we're doing retrieval augmented generation, where we're asking a question on top of our data, let's say we wanted to ask how to get started with driverless AI on top of the driverless documentation. We might be sending thousands or tens of thousands of tokens to a model, so that's going to add up and get expensive pretty fast. So in that case, we might end up with a cheaper model because we're sending so much data over. Now, in the configuration, we can always say, I don't want you to route automatically for me. I know exactly that I would like to use this specific model. But if we do want to do the automatic routing, we also have controls to say how important speed or cost or accuracy is to us. So the default settings are set by the system and admin of your specific organization. Here at H2O, we're sort of having a preference for lower cost, but let's say that we're doing an important project where cost is not really a problem, we're focused on accuracy, we can sort of bump that up and we will see those more accurate models used more often.